afternoon sitting here with Kim Rodela at Highland Fizz. Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Kim, you're running for City Council.
I'm doing it. Running for City Council.
Tell me a little bit about yourself. Where did you grow up and how
Sure.
is it that you ended up in Highland?
Okay, so I kind of grew up all over, Colorado, Arizona, Utah. I ended up in Highland because I went to BYU and I graduated. My husband still had a couple years and I got a job as a budget analyst for the governor's office. We bought a place in Pleasant Grove and then we knew that we wanted to buy our forever house in a really good area. We did a lot of research and we decided Highland was the area. We love the stability about Highland. We love the large lots, the schools, the open space. I'm a runner, the trails are huge. And we took probably a good 2.5 years until we found our house. And we bought it and have been here ever since.
You hit on some of the themes that we'll be talking about later on.
Yeah.
Those issues, I mean, those are the hot button issues in the community right now.
They sure are.
Running for Highland City Council, why City Council?
I've kind of worked in all sectors of government. I was an intern back east in DC for a news agency, and I basically went to the White House and got to interview Thibault and Becky, and these international public figures.
Right.
And then I became budget analyst for the state, and I did that for a few years. I've covered city council meetings in Provo while I was working as a reporter for BYU.
Yeah, we were talking about that
Yeah.
before we started the cameras, and you got to see firsthand how people get engaged with government and what that looks like and how animated, motivated people can be.
Yeah, and that's actually why I ended up in the public sector. I kind of always wanted to do the reporter, broadcast journalism, and I thought if I want to make a difference and change the way that people live and how things are done, then the media is a great way to do it. They have power.
It really is, yeah.
But I started covering issues at the Capitol, and I started covering Provo City Council meetings, and I realized, no, it's in government. If you want to make a change for the good, then you need to go into the public sector. And so that's just how I ended up there. But right now, I've just been kind of doing my thing, PTA treasurer. I work part-time as an executive director of a nonprofit, and I'm a full-time mom of 4 kids, ages 2 to 11. So City Council, to be honest, wasn't on my mind.
So why City Council?
Yeah.
Tell me what brought you to the decision to do this.
I actually was at a Republican fundraising dinner with Representative Brady Brammer, kind of helped him with his campaign a little bit. And he had talked to me for quite a while about getting back involved and eventually running for some type of election or something, just really getting back there. And I was like, I don't know, Brady, now's not the time. I'll think about it. But I went to this Republican fundraising dinner and I sat down and there's a nice gentleman sitting next to me and he gave me a handshake and he said, what's your name? I was like, Kim Rodela. And he's like, oh, perfect. And he's like, I'm Mayor Mann. I'm your mayor of Highland City. And he's like, I'm here to see if you'd run for City Council. And I just was like, I was thinking about planning commission, to be honest with you, but tell me more. And he just said, you know what, we really need somebody with a background in budget, in government budget. We need a fresh voice on City Council. He's like, look at our City Council. We need a little diversity. And he's like, but we just need someone with the skills and background to help Highland progress and grow. And he's like, and I think you're the person.
We were talking before, after one of the meetings, and you have a lot of experience on budgets and insight. That's going to be important coming up for Highland 2022 is looming.
Yeah, I think Highland 2022 is, budget, oh man, I'm gonna say it, Highland needs me for the budget. I'm really good at numbers. It's just how I am. Give me an Excel spreadsheet and I can find ways to cut expenses, to increase revenues. I'm really good at finding these unique little areas where I'm just like, this is a good area where we can save money, but this is a great area where we can raise revenue, and we really should be charging more for this and less for this. And I think that Highland has put off a lot of projects. They've kept their expenses low. And I think that it's going to catch up with them. I really am on the mindset that it is the people's money. Taxpayer money is your money, and you need to spend it wisely. But at the same time, you need to be fiscally responsible and maintain and be proactive about your projects in your city. If you put them off because you don't want to raise taxes, or you don't want to be the one to show that we're spending a lot of money, in the end, you're going to spend a lot more money on these projects because you don't maintain your city. Look at the trails in Highland. I just rode them, and it was just this bumpy mess.
Yeah, everybody who rides those trails or lives next to them
Yeah.
would say the same thing.
Yep.
Yes.
It really does need to be addressed, and it needs to be one of those things where it needs to be addressed now. You can't be talking about it for 10 years and say, yeah, we know it's a problem. Let's look into it. Let's research it. You know what? Research it out. What is the best way to take care of the problem? And then let's just do it. I've got 4 kids. I'm a busy mom. And when it comes to making decisions, I am very efficient.
Moms are.
Very efficient at researching, making the right decision, and then just taking action.
I think that's your mindset with the budget and background and everything like that. Your mind obviously works that way.
Yep, exactly. I just know how to look at those numbers and figure out where you should put your maintenance priorities and where it could be held off a little bit. But I think that's my strongest suit as a candidate for city council.
Excellent.
I could really help out in that area.
Great.
Yeah.
So budget and finance, definitely a big issue. There are projections that says that we're going to be running in the red in 2022.
Yep.
So it's either cut back services, increase revenue, or a combination of those two. And the people that we're electing in this city council are going to make that decision. So I think it's an important thing for the citizens to be aware of, that this is a huge issue.
And I think the citizens need to decide, how do you want Highland to be?
Right.
How do you want Highland to be?
It's a discussion we have to have.
Exactly. If you want Highland to be maintained how you want it to be and how you envision it to be, then you need to pay for it.
Exactly.
If you don't,
right,
then you don't need to pay for it.
Right. What are some of the other issues you see?
We are at a growth point right now in Highland. A lot of development going on, housing, the Boyer project, transportation, the east-west corridor. That's a big issue. I mean, it's inevitable. It's going to happen. It's a done deal kind of thing. I think that we just need to do it in the right way. And I understand the residents that live along that area. I mean, I personally wouldn't want a big, busy street going right down next to my house. But at the same time, we need to recognize that growth occurs. Streets will become busier. There will be traffic. But we need to listen to the voice of our residents as well. How can we make this in the best interest of you who lives along the street and you who's going to use the road? And I think that is really one thing. Just listen. I think we need a candidate in there who needs to represent how the residents feel. I moved to Highland because I love the open space. I love the trails. I run marathons, so I think I have run every single street and trail of Highland. I mean, pretty much every day. Yeah. I'm on those roads and those trails. And I love the huge lot size. I love that we have well planned out how we want our city to look. And I think that's what Highland residents like also about it. So I think we need somebody in there to represent the residents and how they envision Highland to be, especially with this growth coming in. You need to be strong and recognize that you are for the residents and you're not for people who are just concerned about making the most bang out of their buck with Highland.
What is it about you that you think Highland City residents should consider you for the council?
My greatest strength that I have is that I'm not a one-issue candidate. I'm not running for city council because I have a beef with Patterson Homes or because I live along the east-west corridor. I have an issue with zoning and high-density housing. I really am just running because I'm good at what I do. I'm really good at what I do. I'll be honest with you. I know that I can help Highland. I can help them with budget. I can help them with planning. I have the experience, the education, the background in all sectors. And also I can be a great liaison between the city and the state. I have connections still up there at the Capitol from my days as a budget analyst. And I think that's a really important part, especially with the Boyer project. It would have been great to have a good, strong state liaison up there to help facilitate that project as well. So I think that's my greatest strength is I'm not here to pick a beef with some project or because there's only one candidate I thought that was running and it'd be an easy race.
Yeah.
I'm here because I can help Highland and I'm good at it.
All right. Well, Kim, thank you for coming by and sharing a little bit of what motivates you, and good luck in the election. Tell us, how can people find out more information about you?
I am on Facebook, Kim for Highland City. I am on Instagram, Kim Highland City Council, and then I also have a website, kimrodela.com, and that has a lot of information about me, ways you can donate, you can get involved and volunteer, and also my stand on all issues, and a little bit about me, my family, and why I'm running for City Council.
All right. Thanks again.
Thank you.